Thank you for coming out to this workshop at Yellow Vista Food Co-op. For those of you who are not familiar with the Food Co-op, we're a community-owned grocery store. We emphasize local and ethically sourced organic and fair trade foods. So my name is George. I'm the produce manager here. I work to source as much local produce as possible. And today's workshop will be covering produce selection, storage, and slicing. So starting off with produce selection, I just want to get an idea. How many of you guys have a hard time selecting the best piece of produce? How many of you guys buy produce on the regular? It's okay if you don't. You guys do. Cool, good. Have you ever had a piece of produce go bad on you before you could use it? So that's where the storage part will hopefully give you a few tips to make sure that you can avoid stuff spoiling on you before you use it, which is a major problem in this country. But there's a few basic tips that a lot of people don't know that can help you with that. Basically, when you're picking out produce, the way I see it is it kind of comes down to three main categories. You either want to look for something that's firm, you want to look for something that's soft, or it could be none of the above. For lettuce and leafy greens, when you pick those out, would you want it to be soft? Would you want it to be firm? Or is it none of the above?
I feel like it's none of the above, or like in a way it's like leafy, so that's soft. But I also look for color, so I say your kale, if it's yellow, then I wouldn't buy it.
That's right. Kale, I mean, yellow's an obvious indicator of bad greens, so you want to avoid any sort of discoloration. If it goes purple, it's probably not good. If it goes yellow, it's probably really not good. Brown is definitely the worst you can avoid. Overall, though, I would say you'd want to kind of go for something that's sort of firm in the fact that you don't want it to wilt. So here I have an example. This is a head of curly kale. It's completely firm. It's nice and crispy, and you guys can come up here and feel it and see what I mean when I say firm. As opposed to this head of kale, which when you pick up is falling down, it's completely wilty, and when you feel it, it feels a lot softer. This is a lot crisper, which is maybe a better way of saying it than firm. With broccoli, I don't have an example of that one, but you want to go for, with cruciferous vegetables, you want to go things with tight florets. The flowers that are on it should be like tight and nestled in. Once they start spreading out, that's an indicator of age. And you don't want any soft spots. If you can like press your finger into it, that means it's starting to go bad. It's also a sign of decay. And guys, it never hurts to actually smell what you're picking up. If you get a nasty stench out of it, put it down or tell someone to throw it away, because that's another indicator of produce going bad on you. How about potatoes? Firm, soft, or none of the above?
Firm?
That's right. That's an easy one. Potatoes are pretty obviously should be firm. The other thing you want to look for in potatoes is discoloration. So I actually have an example of that one here, where this is a red potato, and this is a red potato. Obviously, the one that's vibrantly red colored is the one that you want to choose. And the other indicator of that is when you cut it open, you get this creamy color on the inside, where if you cut this one open, you get this yellow tint. And this yellow tint is definitely one of the markers for potatoes in general, because not only will you find it on the inside, you'll find it a lot of the times on the outside. If you find a russet potato, which is supposed to be brown, with a yellowish tint, that means it's an older potato. You don't want to select that potato. Same thing happens with yellow potatoes, except that they develop a greenish tint. So make sure whatever color potato you're buying is exactly that color and not any sort of off shade of it. That's another obvious indicator of an older potato that's might do the job, but it won't be as fresh, won't be as tasteful. So firm celery, it's nice, it's vibrantly colored, there's no major abrasions on it. A lot of times on the inside you'll find yellow leaves in celery, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how it naturally grows, with yellowing leaves on the inside, because they don't get a lot of sunlight. While this celery, on the other hand, is got this kind of limpiness to it, which you want to avoid. And the other thing you want to look for is these kind of like abrasions. That's another indicator of age, and oven most likely will be soft when that's the case. So look for a nice firm celery. So here's obviously a bell pepper with major wrinkling. which is the major indicator when it comes to bell peppers. If it starts to wrinkle, then you want to avoid that. Wrinkling bell peppers, again, it happens after age. They're not as good. They're also not as crisp. And really, what you want out of a bell pepper is a crisp one. I'd put mushrooms in the none of the above category because they're kind of mushrooms come as they are. What you want to look for
I
is
feel like it's soft.
it's kind of naturally soft, right? And it also depends on the type of mushrooms. There's so many in the fungi family that it just kind of depends on what that mushroom is. So really what you want to look for is color. They should never be too dark.